Hey guys, Stephanie here with A Northern Gardener. Today I'm going to talk to you about storing seeds and how to save them. So first we'll talk about the storing and organizing part. Seeds should be stored in a dry, dark, and cool place. I've seen several gardeners store their seeds in paper envelopes like this one here. I got like a 100 pack from Amazon for about $8. I've seen seeds stored in their original packaging and then in clear hard plastic containers. If you go searching for said containers, some people call them photo organizing containers, so you could Google that. I've read and researched that you should not store your seeds just in a regular clear plastic like Ziploc type bag, because if there's any moisture in there whatsoever, that the moisture will grow bacteria and funguses and your seeds will be affected and kind of be wasted. So another way to ensure that there's no moisture in your seeds though is to store them with those little silica packets that you can find in when you get new shoes, or sometimes when you buy clothes online. I feel like you find those little silica packets, but be careful, they are not for kids or animals. Alright, so right now I'm going to talk to you about harvesting tomato seeds. This particular tomato is a Sun Gold Orange Cherry Heirloom tomato. It's best to use a rotting tomato or close to rotting tomato because the seeds have less of a gel coating around them. So if you can kind of see just how it's a little gross, very squishy. This is a good tomato to use to harvest seeds. So we're going to cut the tomato open and use just our fingers to separate out the seeds from as much of the tomato fruit as we can. So most of these seeds popped out, it looks like. So that's another win for using kind of like a rotted tomato. So see all these seeds we have here? We will somehow get them into this jar. I think I just started pulling. Bear with me here. Alright, we're going to store the seeds in this jar, uncovered or covered with something that allows air to go through. So this is paper towel. It'd probably be fine just with the paper towel, but I'm just going to poke some holes into it. Make sure to keep it labeled. And maybe even mark the date that you start with this process, because you should store the seeds for no more than 3 days, because the seeds will start to break down. In the next few days, mold will start to develop, but don't worry, that's supposed to happen. Once we are done with our 3 days, we will rinse the moldy seeds through a strainer and lay out on probably this paper towel to fully dry. And then once the seeds are fully dried, we'll store them in a paper envelope like this one here that is labeled. And these seeds should be good for a minimum of 2 to 3 years. After those 2 to 3 years, the germination of the seeds will start to decrease. This doesn't mean that you need to throw your seeds away after 3 years, but you may have to plant more than usual to get proper germination of your seeds. I'll also briefly touch on how to harvest pepper seeds. Like the tomato, choose to harvest seeds from a pepper that has been left on the vine to over-ripen a little bit. This will allow for the seeds to fully mature to allow for max viability of the seeds. Cut open the pepper and remove the seeds. Set them out on a paper towel to dry. Mix the seeds around over the course of the next few days to ensure that they've dried completely. And then store them in your paper envelope and don't forget to label. Let's talk about cross-pollination now. A word on cross-pollination. A tomato and a pepper won't cross-pollinate, but a jalapeno and a bell pepper, for example, they just might. If you have two of these plants next to each other or within close proximity of each other, you save the seeds from the bell pepper, the following year you might get a somewhat spicy bell pepper. The next season, when you choose to plant those seeds that you harvested from the bell pepper. So this can certainly be fun to play with and to cross-pollinate and kind of make up your own variety of seeds, but it's just something to be aware of. Please ignore my fiance that's playing Call of Duty in the background.